Hi, I'm John Glynn. I'm going today to do the selection tool and change the colour of this chair, the red chair here. And to do that fairly simply and fairly quickly, I can use the selection tools in the toolbox on the left hand side of Adobe Photoshop. The selection tool I'm going to use is the quick selection tool, and this selection tool picks up contrast air views. So the contrast here between your subject and the background, the better, the easier it is for your subject to be picked up by this tool. So by highlighting the tool and clicking on it, I have highlighted it, and you'll notice that on the top bar above your photograph, or maybe below your photograph, depending on the version of Adobe Photoshop you're using, you will notice that you have various options as to how to use the tool. The most obvious one we've got here is the size of the brush. The bigger the number, as I pull this size along to the right, the bigger that pixel number is, the bigger the brush will be. And if I push it down to the left, the smaller the pixel number here, the smaller the brush will be. However, that size of brush is related to the magnification of your picture on the screen. So if you were to zoom in on that picture, then the brush will also get bigger. Okay. As for hardness, that's the hardness of the brush. In this particular setting, hard is fine. Okay, and the spacing we can just leave. It's irrelevant to this particular picture. Okay, so to make a selection, I make a brush which I can easily see, and I put my mouse over the top of the area I wish to select, and you can see that I've got a circular brush with a plus sign in it. Holding my left mouse key down, if I'm using a mouse, I can drag and select, and you'll notice it picks up edges automatically. However, if the colour of the seat and the colour of the background are very similar, or the tonal range rather than colour, tonal ranges are similar, then it will have difficulty picking that edge up. Therefore, you will have to make the adjustments with finer detail. To do that, it's advisable to zoom in and enlarge this area. To do that, I use Navigator. Navigator enables me to zoom in by having a little drag option underneath the picture. I can zoom in. I've got a little red box. I can drag that around my picture area, and lo and behold, you can see that I can zoom in on my particular area I wish to work, and my brush effectively gets bigger as well, because as I've said already, as you zoom in, your brush becomes effectively bigger because it relates to the numbers of pixels you're looking at. As you zoom in, pixels get bigger, so does your brush. Now, what I wish to do is push this bit of line, this marquee, closer to my chair. And as you see, I've got a plus sign at the moment, which enables me to add to the selection. But what I want to do is to take away the selection. To do that, I could either go to the top drawer here, again the top bar, and in the top bar I've got a plus and a minus. Hit the minus, allows me to have a minus, and I can push it in. And then if I want to extend it again, I click the plus sign. So between those two, I can jump between them. However, a quicker way is by holding the Alt key down on my keyboard. I am using a PC, by the way, rather than an Apple Mac, but you can use an Apple to do the same thing, and I can push that in. When I let go of my Alt key, it automatically reverts back to the plus sign, so that I can then adjust and push it back out again if I so wish. In actual fact, I want to push it back in again until it gets to an edge. Now, depending on how important the edge is, will depend on how long you spend doing it, and also if you want more accuracy, it would be advisable to make a smaller brush. So if I go down to a smaller brush, I can now be more accurate with my selection. Okay. Something like that will do for this particular effect that I'm going to show you. Now, what I'm going to do excuse me, is change the colour of the seat. So to change the colour of the seat, I zoom back out to make it easier for me to see what I'm doing. There we are. Now you can see the whole chair, and you can see the marquee tool that I've selected. Now I'm wanting to change that colour. To do that, I'm going to go over to the My Layers palette on the right hand side. I have a selection of palettes, one of which is called Layers. If you haven't found Layer, or it's not open, then go up to the top toolbar and find Window, and under Window you'll find Layers including Navigator, if your Navigator isn't open either. By clicking on them they become open, by clicking them again you'll close them. Now the background layer, you'll notice that the background layer is the only layer I've got. I'm going to drag this up to make it a bit easier to see, and what I want to do is create a new layer, but an adjustment layer. So to do an adjustment layer, I go over the little circle with a black and white circle, click on that, and I get various adjustments I can make to my photograph. And by clicking the Hue and Saturation, it opens up a selection option here, Hue and Saturation. The marquee will vanish. Please note there is no marquee now. However, the computer is aware of where I made the selection. So now when I change the hue, the colour of my seat changes as well. Not only does that change, but underneath I've got saturation, and I can change the strength of the colour. I can saturate it or desaturate it. If I desaturate completely, it becomes black and white, and therefore I can put it back to what it was, or I can adjust it. And because it's on a separate layer, I can keep it and save it accordingly as a TIFF file or a PSD file, and come back at a later date, click on my selected layer again, Hue and Saturation, reopen the selection and make adjustments as often as I like, whenever I like. So a very quick way of changing the colour. The advantage of using this system rather than Paint Bucket, which is another option on the left hand side, is that Paint Bucket is just literally paint, and does not keep the integrity of the chair underneath. This keeps the integrity of the detail of the chair, the shadows, the texture of the chair. All of that is kept by using the Hue Saturation option in the Layers palette. So remember that now, that's using the selection tool. Make my selection by holding down my left mouse key and dragging. To make any corrections, you zoom in on the area you want to work on to be more accurate, and then when you've made your selection, you go over to your Layers palette, click on the Layer Adjustment options, and create a new layer, Hue and Saturation, which then allows you to change the colour of your seat that you've selected, or whatever your other subject happens to be. Okay, I hope that helps, and it's a fairly simple and quick way to make adjustments. Thank you very much for watching.